TV1 රැස්වීදෙන ජීවිතේ.
Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News here on News First, where the people come first. You're joining me, Naveksha Gunasekara. We start off by taking a look at your headlines.
37 new state ministers sworn in. Actress Damita arrested.
මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරන මේ වෙලාවේ දමිතා අබේරත්න මැතිණිය ඒ දඩයන් කිරීම මේ රාජ්‍ය දඩයම රාජ්‍ය ම්ලේච්ඡත්වයේ රාජ්‍ය ත්‍රස්තවාදය මේ හිංසනය මේ රාජ්‍ය ප්‍රචණ්ඩත්වය නතර කරන්න.
No final agreement with IMF, says leader of the House. Sri Lanka short of US dollars for fertilizer. Suppliers refuse to agree to terms. Sanat Nishanta's contempt of court petition fixed for 13 September. IMF chief in India.
Sri Lanka appointed over 30 new ministers of state today, that is Thursday the 8th, at the President's office in Colombo.
Sri Lanka's new state ministers took oaths in the presence of President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's office in Colombo. Jagat Pushpakumara, State Minister of Foreign Employment, Ranjit Siambalapitiya, State Minister of Finance, Lasantha Alagiyawanna, State Minister of Transport, Dilum Amunugama, State Minister of Investment Promotion, Kanaka Herath, State Minister of Technology, Janaka Wakumbura, State Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Shehan Semasinghe, State Minister of Finance, Mohan Priyadarshan De Silva, State Minister of Agriculture, Thenuka Vidanagamage, State Minister of Urban Development and Housing, Pramita Bandara Tennakon, State Minister of Security and Defence, Rohan Disanayaka, State Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, Arundika Fernando, State Minister of Urban Development and Housing, Vichita Berugoda, State Minister of Piriven Education, Luhan Ratwata, State Minister of Plantation Industries, Taraka Balasuriya, State Minister of External Affairs, Indika Anuruddha, State Minister of Power and Energy, Sanat Nishanta, State Minister of Water Supply, Shripala Gamlat, State Minister of Highways, Shanta Bandara, State Minister of Media, Anuradha Jayaratna, State Minister of Justice and Prisons Affairs, S. Vialendran, State Minister of Trade, Sisira Jayakodi, State Minister of Indigenous Medicine, Pial Nishanta De Silva, State Minister of Fisheries, Prasanna Ranavira, State Minister of Small and Medium Scale Industries Development, D.V. Chanaka, State Minister of Wildlife and Forest Conservation, D.B. Herath, State Minister of Livestock Development, Shashindra Rajapaksa, State Minister of Irrigation, Dr. Sita Arambepola, State Minister of Health, Kadamastan, State Minister of Rural Affairs, Ashoka Priyantha, State Minister of Home Affairs, Aravind Kumar, State Minister of Education, Geeta Kumarasinghe, State Minister of Women and Child Affairs, Sivanesha Ture Chandrakanthan, State Minister of Rural Roads Development, Dr. Suren Raghavan, State Minister of Higher Education, Diana Gamage, State Minister of Tourism, Chamara Sampath Dasanayaka, State Minister of Primary Industries, and Anura Pascal, State Minister of Social Empowerment.
Actress Damita Aberatna, who was arrested on Wednesday, is being held at the Fort Police, and Sri Lanka police said that she will be produced in court on Thursday.
Actress Damita Aberatna was arrested on Wednesday while taking part in a protest themed The Silent Hour at the Parliament roundabout opposite Theatre Uyana. Sri Lanka police said that the actress was arrested for unlawful assembly, unlawful entry to the President's office and other charges. Sri Lanka's opposition leader Sajith Premadasa visited the actress at the Fort Police on Thursday morning.
සමාවෙන්න මේ කිව්වට මේ ආණ්ඩුවට පෙන්වන්න බෑනේ මේ කලාකරුවන් තරුණ තරුණියන් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල.
It appears the government cannot stand artists, youth, student activists and others. There is no reason to yell MP Prasanna Ranatunga. I am requesting for an end to state suppression, state terrorism and state brutality. In such circumstances, how can you say that we must work together? Namal Rajapaksa is making some noise today. I am speaking on behalf of Damitha Abeywatne. Why are you yelling?
මම කතා කරන්නේ දමිතා අබේරත්න මැතිණිය වෙනුවෙන්. මොකද ඔබතුමා කෑ ගහන්නේ?
If a person has done something wrong, it is not wise for the opposition leader or anyone else to appear for such a person. At the same time, we must allow them to have justice in a court of law.
මම හිතන්නේ මගේ ඉදිරිපත් වීම ඉදිරිපත් නොවීම තීන්දුව.
It's not the Rajapaksas who decide on my representation, and certainly not Namal Rajapaksa. The people of Hambantota are well aware of who gave rise to violence. Today, the constitution is something that is limited to its name. The constitution contains fundamental rights. It is the supreme law.
ආසකම් කියලා ටිකක් තියෙනවා. උත්තරීතර නීතිය කියනවා. මේක නමට විතරයි. මේ කොන්දේසි විරෝධී
When such incidents have taken place, it is impossible for us to extend support to the government.
අපිට සහයෝගය ලබා දීමේ අපහසුතාවයක් තියෙනවා. ඔබතුමා කියනවා වගේ එතුමිය
If her rights have been violated, she had to bring that before the law. You're trying to portray something called state terrorism. But how can the enforcement of law and order be named state terrorism?
I'll just read the half a sentence of the first recommendation by the High Commissioner for Human Rights at the United Nations. This was just released yesterday, the advanced version. The first recommendation, OHCHR recommends that the Sri Lankan authorities take all necessary measures to guarantee people's economic and social rights during the economic crisis. People got onto the streets because we have failed. The government has failed. So they have to blame somebody. They are blaming us. At least have the courage to accept that we made massive mistakes and bankrupted this country, and don't arrest people who are accusing us of doing that, because we are responsible. If we are not responsible, who is responsible? You can't shoot the messenger, Honorable Speaker. How can you shoot the messenger? She's only taking the message to the people, people's message to the government and to this parliament. So please consider that. Otherwise we are going to be in trouble in Geneva also. I was with Damitha Abeywatne on that day. They arrest me also in that case.
මෙතුමා කියනවා එතුමියත් එක්ක හිටියා කියලා. මම දන්නේ නැහැ ඒක ගැන. ඒක අපිට අදාළ දෙයක් නෙමෙයි ගරු කතා නැගතුමනි. ඒක පෞද්ගලික කාරණා මම විතර කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ.
දමිතා අබේරත්න රංගන ශිල්පිය තරඟුඩ ගැනීම
On the matter of the arrest of Damitha Abeywatne, it is the minister in charge of police who is looking into it. I will direct your proposal to the minister.
මට ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කටයුතු කරන්නයි කියන කාරණේ පිළිබඳව.
The Western Province South Crimes Division arrested 2 suspects for attacking the residence of MP Johnston Fernando on the 9th of May 2022. The suspects, aged 22 and 23, are residents of Hokandara.
Sri Lanka's Court of Appeal on Thursday decided to take up the 2 petitions filed against State Minister Sanath Nishanta on the 13th of September.
The 2 petitions were filed against the State Minister for committing contempt of court. Notice was issued to all respondents in the petitions, including Sanath Nishanta, to appear in court and make submissions.
Sri Lanka will disclose the IMF staff level agreement following approval from the IMF's executive board. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the staff level agreement reached with the International Monetary Fund will be disclosed after obtaining approval from the IMF Executive Board. Speaking to Newsfirst, the Prime Minister said that the IMF Executive Board is expected to grant its approval to disburse funds to Sri Lanka based on the staff level agreement within the next few weeks. He said once the staff level agreement is approved by the IMF Executive Board, the agreement will be made available. Moving on to more news, IMF chief says India has a bright spot in an uncertain global economy. Both the leaders shared concerns on key downside risks to the global economy and the cross-border effects due to the geopolitical situation and the tighter financial conditions.
He made the
the statement during her meeting with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, where India's coming G20 presidency was also discussed, and the IMF reiterated its support. Georgieva tweeted that the IMF stands ready to work with the Indian Finance Minister on climate change, crypto regulation and other global challenges of the present times. She also met with India's External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar and discussed India's success with COVID vaccines and the role of digital in upgrading health systems and preparation for India's first ever G20 presidency. Minister Susil Premajayantha noted that the Sri Lankan authorities have reached a staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund and not signed one. Moving on to more news, Sri Lanka's Agriculture Ministry is facing issues in procuring fertilizer from the world market. A senior officer attached to the ministry told Newsfirst that some fertilizer suppliers are refusing to provide fertilizer, citing the economic crisis and reserves shortage in Sri Lanka.
A senior officer attached to the Ministry of Agriculture speaking to Newsfirst said that international fertilizer suppliers have refused to agree to the terms presented by Sri Lanka in the procurement of fertilizer. However, the Ministry of Agriculture says that the ministry has a reserve of 10,000 metric tons of fertilizer which are yet to be utilized under the Indian credit line. The ministry intends on giving the reserve fertilizer to farmers who start cultivation before the Maha season. The Ministry of Agriculture stated that the stocks of fertilizers ordered utilizing the loans received from the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank will be received by November. Meanwhile, the Director General of Agriculture said that to reap the harvest of the Maha season by the end of January or by the beginning of February, the cultivation activities of the Maha season need to be commenced on time.
Prices of fertilizer will increase even more, so will electricity, water, fuel and gas. But the number of cabinet and state ministers will increase at a faster rate, so will the benefits of the 134 MPs. If the president only looks to uplift the lives of the MPs, just as Namal Rajapaksa said, then Ranil Wickremesinghe too is walking down the same road as Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
The paddy situation in the country is currently taking a turn for the worse. Farmers in Kantale raised their concerns that they have now been forced to sell paddy for unreasonably low prices this season. The Sinipura Agrarian Union in Kantale has cultivated 800 acres of farmland this yellow season. Farming continued despite the dire fertilizer crisis in the country. The weather too wasn't favorable this season. The curd industry in Tissa Maharama too has taken a bad turn. The prices of curd have skyrocketed due to the soaring prices of raw materials. The fuel crisis too hasn't helped their cause.
The All Ceylon Agrarian Federation responded to former Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage's comments regarding the implementation of organic fertilizer programs. Mahindananda told yesterday that he was not in favour of that decision. Apparently, he wanted to implement this in stages. They attacked us when we brought the same recommendations together with the university professors. He is now saying he had to carry out someone else's orders. They have put the entire country in dire straits by doing so. Apparently, he is unwilling to take responsibility for the Chinese fertilizer ship as well. Neither Mahindananda Gotabaya nor Mahinda Amarabera can flee from this now.
Sri Lanka police recovered 2 weapons after pursuing a van that defied orders to stop in Gonapinuwala. 2 revolvers and 7 bullets and 2.2 grams of ice drugs have been found in the house of a suspect. Batapola police arrested 2 suspects along with 700,000 rupees. The program to create the longest painting in the country with the participation of school children from all over the island is being held today for the 8th day.
United We Stand is the theme for the longest painting by Sri Lankan school children that is being created for World Children's Day 2022, which falls on the 1st of October. Sirasa TV and the Education Minister joined hands to launch a program to create one of the longest paintings in Sri Lanka. The painting will be designed by school students, and today's leg took place at Royal College Polonnaruwa and Thopavawa Central College. The painting will move to the Anuradhapura district on day 9 tomorrow.
Senior DIG in charge of the Western Province, Deshabandhu Tennakoon, said that Sri Lanka Police would revise its crackdown on drugs and the crime wave. The senior DIG said that crimes were on the rise after Sri Lanka Police was unable to increase its foot and mobile patrols given the situation that prevailed in the country. He said that the methods of raids being carried out also dropped given the situation, and that allowed narcotics such as crystal meth to spread even to areas close to schools. The senior DIG said Sri Lanka Police would increase raids to crack down on drugs. And that's a wrap of lunchtime news here on News First, where the people come first. Thank you for joining. For all these stories and much more, you can visit our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. Have yourself a great day ahead.